God, the horrible reality of HOAs. HOAs is such some rich people. It is some rich people shit. It's some rich people shit. OD. But yeah. For the people over on YouTube, twitch.tv/Brando or whatever. I don't know why you're not here yet. We have this conversation every video. But yeah, let's get into it.
Oh man, what the
Who is it?
We got a letter from the HOA.
Oh, HOA? What does that mean?
It's the Homeowners Association, Winslow. I didn't even. How
Red
do we
people
have
is
one all
crazy.
the way out here? We're in the middle of nowhere, literally in the middle of nowhere. God damn it.
Wait, Hunter.
What?
I want to tell you something. Come over here.
I'm not gonna. Why do I have to just tell me?
Come on. Come over here. Please.
So
Whatever.
just
I'll just
tell
do
me.
it later. I'll just come back down later.
No! Wait! Wait! I just want some screen time!
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you
What
doing?
the
How you doing?
fuck?
Come and sit on down because today we're talking about 3 letters that I hate combined together. I'm of course talking about HOA. Let me tell you something. Owning a home is something most people hope to accomplish as they reach their adult years. There's something freeing about having your own piece of property, where you have more say in creating a comfortable space to live in, right?
Real.
However, many future homeowners may
Not the
realize
J.
they
Cole,
don't have
bro.
as
What
much
the
freedom
fuck?
as they may think.
He
A
said, "Now
significant
mind
number
you."
of communities in the U.S. are overseen by something called the HOA. Or the Homeowners Association.
Why
the
is
HOA
Eminem
is run
there,
by a
bro? What
board
is he
of
doing?
directors that enforce rules for all residents that own property within the community to follow, right? So your neighborhood has some fucking goon council that sits around, and there's the people who are like, your fence can't be that high. You know, and some of their goals include maintaining the upkeep, the safety, and property value of a neighborhood while also providing amenities for homeowners and aiding in resolving resident disputes, right? It's basically daycare. If you're in a HOA, you're in a daycare.
Hey, listen, your car's a bit loud. You coming? Can you just slow it down? And can you also just, I mean, come on. You're being a bit loud. You know, it's that kind of stuff.
Cut your grass.
Yeah. So actually, you left your trash cans out in your driveway. That's a fine. I can't leave my trash cans in my driveway. It makes the neighborhood look bad. Kill yourself.
Aww.
You left your 50-foot skeleton out.
So you left your giant Costco skeleton out for 6 months and you accrued quite a fine.
In order to do this, they often collect quarterly, monthly, or annual fees. That's right. You get to pay for someone to treat you like a child.
What?
And when they are being operated as they were intended, it can result in great things for an individual community, right? However, there are countless examples, if not almost every example, of HOAs that have terrorized residents, often power tripping on the perceived superiority they receive from the board that they are on. So today, let's talk about the dark side of the Homeowners Association. You know, the ghost.
Ohio, Guysma!
Is that wrong? Listen! Get for subs. Pick up some ramen order. Thank you so. Controversial opinions.
He's not paying me.
Kramer soups. And we'll get back to the video.
Thank you.
You know, and you're probably wondering this. This is probably the glaring question off the top of everybody's mind. Hunter, how do you feel about HOAs, right? What I got to say is, you know what? Don't like them.
Oh.
Controversial opinion says no one. The HOA is necessary for, like, if a guy, which you couldn't even do this anyway, as I say, he paints a stick on his house. The police would be called. They can't do that. This is honestly what I think. If you're in a neighborhood you like and you're like, this is nice, I'm going to keep my house nice where I can sell it one day and the value of it is only going to increase. But the guy next door painted his house in polka dots and no one wants to live next to the fucking polka dot house. I understand the frustration there. At the same time,
I don't know. I don't think I'd give a fuck if I lived next to the polka dot house. It's not my house, so I wouldn't care. You get what I'm saying? Like, if someone was like, wait, why does the dude next to you have polka dots on his house? And be like, I don't fucking know. We're gonna go about our day.
if I just spent $350,000 on a house, it should be my God-given right to paint the motherfucker in polka dots. No one should
Oh,
tell me.
bro.
Also, no one should tell me how tall I want my fence is to cut my fucking lawn. Is it annoying to look at? Boo-hoo, bitch, is what I would say. Or if I was that distraught, honestly, I'd just be like, what could I do? I'm not saying that I advocate for people being slobs, because I don't. I'm just saying that, like, there's got to be a better way besides everyone is affected by rules because of, like, some bad eggs. That's what I gotta say. And also, I do think HOAs are just a huge pain in the ass. They can be expensive at times. Like if you live in a really nice neighborhood, those fees, those monthly fees, it's crazy. Bananas.
In Texas, I think we're paying like 150 HOA fees.
It's insane. But first, how do people feel about homeowners associations? Residents often complain about the rigid set of rules around the HOA's ability to limit modifications to your house. Even though you own your home, that doesn't mean you are allowed to paint it whatever color you want. The HOA won't approve it because they want the neighborhood to have a similar color scheme. And these types of regulations surrounding your home's visual appeal can impact all sorts of things, like how short you can cut your grass, what type of fence you can build, what flowers you can plant in your yard, and much, much more, which I think is stupid. And the entire idea is just because it's like, it just keeps the value up. Where it's like, am I not gonna live here for like 25 years?
I'm flipping this baby.
Listen, buddy, I'm flipping it. I'm a flipper, all right? These are investment properties, okay? So don't be painting your house fucking polka dots, all right? I'll come at you.
That's what I do. I'll buy you out. I'll buy you out to paint the house.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
That's
no,
crazy.
I don't want to leave. I'm going to buy you out. And this inevitably will result in some anger-inducing situations. Like with a father who had to tear down the treehouse he built for his child during the pandemic. Wouldn't you love that? Hey, buddy, I'm going to build you a treehouse. Thanks, Dad. I love you. Yeah, so actually, no, you can't build a treehouse that's in your yard. To me, I'm like, dude, you. This is getting me riled up. I'm getting like pissed. There's not even an HOA here. I don't have an HOA, luckily. I'm out in the fucking middle of nowhere, and I love it. I love it.
It's free.
The HOA will demand you to make changes to your home to fall in line with their guidelines, and a failure to do so will lead to fees you are required to pay. Seeing as other people are often forced to join HOAs to live in the community in the first place, you may think, what's the worst they can do? Well, the HOA has more power than you realize. In some instances, as late fees pile up, the HOA can pull a lien against your home, which is the right to keep possession of property belonging to another person until a debt owed by that person is discharged. They can basically be like, I own your house. Until you pay your stupid fees, I can own your house. And it's some dickhead down the road who's just like, hey, I just got this cherry Firebird that I'm souping up. It's like, dude, jump off your house! That's what I want to say. Fuck 'em.
Jesus.
Essentially, if you fail to pay your debt to the HOA, they can foreclose your home.
As you can see, Hunter feels he feels very strongly about HOAs.
To pay it off on top of any legal fees.
The legal fees to sue you.
Yeah, the legal fees, the legal fees to sue you. And I understand this is a fail-safe scenario for people who are like, I'm not going to pay it, or they're being dicks. You want to be able to boot people out of a neighborhood if you have kids. Also, in some communities, don't you have to be approved to even get the house by the HOA?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Wait,
I
what?
think there are actual neighborhoods where it's like, yeah, the HOA has to prove you.
They check your skin color.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's a lot of HOAs. There are many other serious issues regarding HOAs, like some
I
of them
thought
even
that
still
said
try to get
something
away with
completely
racial
different.
segregation, the way it was commonly done in the 1960s. Even as recently as 2019, a Florida community discovered that a nearby neighborhood still had Caucasian-only restrictions. Of course, dude, those 85-year-olds.
I was going to say, yeah, the retirees.
Yeah, there's like
How long until the food
Jimmy
gets here?
Buffett Margaritaville on the corner, and like
Like
it's hidden
four,
behind some,
like
floral, like
4 to 5 minutes. I gotta pull it up on my phone right here.
Because homeowner associations are run like micro governments and have a considerable amount of power, it's easy to see how things can get out of hand easily in the wrong hands. Like, for example, when members of an HOA in Colorado called the police to try and shut down a child's lemonade stand due to it being an illegal business. I think everybody's kind of heard of this one, right? They're like, I'm trying to...
I thought that it was just like trolls in a movie. I never thought that this would be like some real shit that'll happen. No cap.
sell lemonade, and the woman's like, phone shaking. Get out of here!
Look at those fucking criminals.
I think the police had to fine them.
They did. Well, they're like, well, I mean, I guess sorry. What a pussy, dude. I'd be like, actually, ma'am, can you come here? And I'm like, I'm gonna shoot you in the chest if you don't go home right now. And my body cam footage is off. This is not even me joking around. I have a fucking Dodge Charger in my car. I will ram you off the fucking road. You can't say that to me. I'm like, I'm gonna bust your teeth out with my fucking gun. That's what I'd say. And then I'd go over and be like, do you guys take American Express? They're like, no. And I flip the fucking table. They are so widely mocked and criticized that there's an entire genre on sites like TikTok that focus on creating fake rage bait HOA confrontations.
The classic camera, yeah.
Yeah, the classic camera thing. We can put up a little video of it, but you've seen it before too.
This key is not working, and this is the master key to all the houses. Did you change the locks?
No.
If you did, that's a violation of HOA policy.
With that said, let's talk about some of the most obnoxious HOA stories, starting with the HOA forcing people to leave their garage doors up. In Auburn, California.
Wait, that sounds like a cult. There's no way like they actually just have one key that unlocks all the houses. That's so crazy. Ecstasy's live. I did see he was live. I saw he was live. Fucking Jaws live. John's live. Bro, everybody's live right now, bro. Everybody's live right now, bro.
HOA had supposedly discovered that
Which is
one of
crazy.
the owners had someone living in their garage.
You followed him?
For
I did
days.
follow him.
In response, they decided that the best course of action was to enforce a rule that stated that every resident would be required to leave their garage doors open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Hey, can we make it as easy as possible for burglars to come to my house while I'm at work?
You doing Song Wars? I should join.
Time that I'm gone.
What do you mean I should join? Like, go in there and be like, let me judge?
Residents were infuriated by this because it meant that they ran the risk of bikes, wheelchairs, cars, and any other loose objects in their garage being stolen.
Yeah, I was
Those
gonna
who
say.
refused would have to pay a $200
It's aux. Not today. You put in songs? Not today, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. That's how I introduce myself to the ecstasy, the community. So I'll come in there and I'll play a banger and I'll leave.
fine, which is probably per day.
Yeah.
By the way, during the
I'm
next
doing it
HOA
too.
meeting, the neighborhood voiced their frustrations, causing them to back down from their new rule. I would be like, you know what? If you charge me, I'm going straight up. I'm not gonna say it.
Postal.
No, I was gonna do more beating people in the mouth but Dustin, I'm too angry.
Yeah.
I'm heated.
I'm heated
because
is
I will
crazy.
say, I don't know if this is a good spot to say it, but I had this one HOA one time. I was mowing my yard, and the guy who was,
Back to what they were saying about the garage thing. Keeping my garage door open from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, that's when most people are at work. Let me just say that. But, like, people could steal stuff. So people could get in my house. People could, like, come on, nah, bro. That doesn't even sound right, King.
the director or whatever of the HOA lived behind me. I was mowing my yard, and the guy came out and he's like, you know you're not supposed to use gas mowers in this neighborhood, right?
Oof.
And I did. What? He's like, we're basically all Ryobi over here. And I was like, well, I don't have it. And he's like, okay, well, you should go get one. Annoying altercation, albeit whatever. Later on in the day, I get a fucking at my door, and then I hear off my steps, and the guy knocked on my door, left an envelope, and like ran off. And it was a, I'm not even joking, it was a $550 fine.
What?
And I was like, broke at the time. Fucking broke.
Where was this?
This was in Kansas City.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I sat there, and he lives right behind me. So I like walk around. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, buddy, honestly, I hate to do it, but it's just if you let one person do it, everybody's gonna start doing it. I'm like, it's a gas lawnmower.
But then they would have got mad at him if he didn't mow the lawn. So it's like, what are we talking about? Nah, that would piss me off, bro. That would piss me off. Why do you care? Why do you care what I mow my lawn with, bro? It's getting mowed. Who gives a fuck?
It's fine. I was like, also, I'm like, how can I get the fucking mower if I have to pay this? He's like, listen, like I said, I hate to do. It's like it's that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It'd always be like weird, petty stuff like that. Anyways, I hate HOA so much.
Yeah, that's horseshit.
But if you thought that HOA decision was stupid, that's only the beginning. Let's talk about the $250 Gatorade bottle violation. Rachel, a mother on TikTok.
Mom talk.
Mom talk.
Mom
Play a
talk.
clip. Rachel, a mother
Bro,
on
they've been
TikTok,
cooking
voiced
her for like 2
frustrations
months,
about
bro.
An absurd encounter with a HOA in her small community. After a grease fire got out of hand, their microwave exploded and burned down their entire home. Days later, after firefighters had to put out the fire, they moved the charred microwave onto the front lawn for the purpose of being collected at a later date by the city of Houston. Even with the home completely destroyed, they were sent a letter from the HOA to their non-existent home stating that they must pay $250 for leaving the microwave out on the yard.
In the time that that microwave was sitting there, we got a notarized letter to that address that was literally burned and a fine for $250 from our HOA.
Of course, she refused to pay and got them to retract the fine. But later on, as workers were coming in and out of the home to slowly rebuild it, someone had left an empty Gatorade bottle on top of their fence railing, which is the most common thing at any job site. You're gonna have like wrappers and bottles. It is what it is. They're fucking slobs. Sorry. They're also there for 9 hours. They probably forget about it. It was left there for
This shit good as
one
fuck.
day on the charred ruins of this rebuilding of a home. And the HOA decided to take a picture and include it in a certified letter given to Rachel. In it, she received a notice of another $250 fine just for single bottle. Nick, what world are we living in?
Just one.
Yeah, you're like, actually, I think it's kind of cool. Is it wrong to not like that or what?
Okay, first you have the microwave, they retracted it, but then a Gatorade bottle, come on.
The audacity to, well, you know what happened is that, you know that somebody on that HOA board was like, it was her fault for burning it down anyways. And now she's got to dirty up the whole fucking neighborhood because of it.
Or they're saying, God, that's an eyesore. They charred. We can't find them.
You know, it's some fucking old dude like walking his dog and he's just like, God damn it, I lived here too long to have to put up with this. Burnt down house, woman's crying in her front yard. Ah! And he's just like, she's an ugly crier too.
I thought the story was they were going to fine her for burning her house down.
I bet you there had to have been talks about it. Can we fine her for the burning of the house? I do like how it's a grease fire that got out of hand. We're cooking french fries and just shit went wild. I cut up a couple spuds and threw them in the deep fryer. Whoa! That fire snowballed. I couldn't stop it. Now, $250 is bad. $250 to get smacked with, that's a fucking bummer. But that pales in comparison to some of the other HOA horror stories. Like the woman who almost
Wait, she got $250 for a random Gatorade bottle? Hell nah, bro. Nah, they're tweaking. They're tweaking.
faced jail time over a purple playground. Was going to prison for a purple playground. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Here we go again. A family in Lee Summit was terrified after being hit with various threats from the Homeowners Association regarding the playground in their backyard. Their backyard, that no one else can really see, behind their home, not even the front of the home. Marla and her husband had built it for their kids from scratch, finishing it off with a purple tinted wood stain. The kids were overjoyed. However, the HOA did not approve of the color. They were given a notice and a fine. The family contested it and won, but the HOA would not let up. 1 year later, they were given a letter explaining that if they did not take down the playground within a couple weeks, they could expect to see some jail time.
But I thought they won.
They found that they were not breaking any rules and even went to door asking residents to confirm that the swing set was not obstructing their view or bothering them. A petition was signed and the other residents began demanding the HOA to not pursue a lawsuit. But they denied the plea and filed the suit anyway, feeling that the playground needed to be within harmony with the other colors of the community. That's a quote.
How miserable do you have to be, bro? How miserable do you have to be? Like, come on, dog.
The family won the case and the purple swing set stayed in their yard.
It's like not even that bad.
I don't think it's that bad now. I mean, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, it's a fucking purple swing set, dude. And also kids are playing on it.
They would hate our channel colors.
Yeah, they're just like, I do not approve. I do not approve of those colors. Ooh, almost threw up a little bit. If you thought threatening to send a woman to jail over the color of a playground was a bit excessive, just wait until you hear about the man who was fined for giving away free water during a heat wave. It's like that Curb Your Enthusiasm bit.
It is illegal for anyone in the state of Georgia to provide food or water to voters in line at the polls.
What? You can't do. Oh no, you're making a big mistake.
I'm sorry, baby, I forgot.
In 2024, a heat wave hit Arizona residents with record-breaking temperatures. David Marth, a good Samaritan living in Goodyear, helped out neighbors by leaving out a cooler filled with ice-cold water. For all the people enduring the heat, hey, if you were passing by and walking down the street, grab yourself a nice thing of water. On me! On me. I'm the one who has the Costco membership, Kirkland Water for All. His local HOA were angered by this, saying that community rules are against advertising and giving out water bottles from a cooler that's visible to other residents in the driveway. Buddy, listen. You can't be promoting free water. That's against policy. Essentially, the cooler and the sign cannot be visible when he distributes the water because they need the neighborhood to look visually consistent. I like how
I got it from this place named Berea Hands. It's pretty good.
it's like you can hand out the water, but we cannot see. I cannot take a look at that cooler. Get that cooler away from me! Because of the weird rule, he was fined $50 a month, and this ramped up to $100 a month after it seemed that David wasn't giving up. Soon enough, the fees reached $475 a month! Obviously, residents couldn't care less about visual clutter of a single cooler being put in someone's driveway. And in fact, many of them were vocally supporting his decision to do so because, you know, I don't know, it's hot and it's free water.
I've been to Arizona once. It was so damn hot that my cousins looked at me and said, drink water. Like, just drink water. And I'm like, yeah, no, I understand how heat works. And they're like, no. Excuse me. They were like, no. Drink water. You will pass out if you don't drink water. Arizona gets hot as freak. He's doing God's work by giving out that free water, bro.
Apparently, this was something that David had been doing for years. That is, until the HOA suddenly decided it had to be stopped. For some reason, this time, you know, it's just one guy. We don't know who it is. Some nosy neighbor, dude.
Oh, you know what? He probably, for years, he's been trying to get on the HOA board, and he finally got it.
Trying to get on the HOA board, but also it's one of those things where it's like, I bet you anything David had like a killer cookout, and that motherfucker never got invited. So as soon as he, yeah, exactly, he's like peeking over the fence. Looking at his bratwurst and stuff. Oh, it smells good. Like, yeah, yep. Not inviting him over at all. And then finally, when he gets a taste of power, he had to throw himself on it, dude. He had to enforce those rules immediately on my boy David. But out of protest, David refused to back down and refused to pay any of the fines, despite neighbors offering money to cover it. In an interview with a local Arizona news station, yes, this made the news, he simply stated, quote, just come get a bottle of water. Chill. How sick is that?
And have a bratwurst.
Have a fucking bratwurst. You know who you are. You know you're not invited. The guy's like, has like a glass of scotch in his house. He's like, do you need anything else, master? Sometimes HOAs can greenlight fees that are incredibly cruel, despite insane financial toll it can take on residents. Like when an HOA surprised a homeowner with a $15,000 fee.
What do you think justifies that high of a fee before you...
The only thing I can think that justifies a $15,000 fee is one, you like destroy someone else's property, something like that. Like if you painted a giant swastika on your house or something weird where it's like painting your house polka dots, is it annoying? Yes, but at the same time, do I think it really devalues your home? I don't know. I really don't think it does. But that kind of stuff, I think that legitimately, like, you're just hurting everyone. Yeah. Not only is it super offensive, but like you're actually fucking with our money now too.
Yeah.
You know, which I don't know which one's worse. A TikToker named Britton Brody posted a video where she detailed a horrific situation going on in her community in Orlando, Florida. My ass is never retiring down there, dude.
You don't want to go to...
No, I don't want to go to Florida. That shithole. Back in 2022, she had bought a condo at the age of 21. And part of her fees on top of her mortgage was a $315 HOA fee. That's what I'm saying. Is that fucking ridiculous? Oh, so you have to pay this? And don't forget that. It's like buying an apartment, unless you're in New York, makes no sense. Because then you have to pay building maintenance fees. Yeah. At one point, a company had approached the owners in that neighborhood about buying their homes from them to convert into apartment buildings. Soon after they reject this offer, a new board of directors came in and increased the HOA fees for every resident. I wonder if he's in on this business scheme as well. For Brittany, her fee jumped up to $414, and soon after, it raised to $651 a month. That should legitimately be illegal.
That's something them trying to kick them out, right?
Well, they're trying to strong arm them to be like, you're not being kicked out, we're buying your property. It's that kind of shit. Yeah. Eventually, a letter came in that explained that there will be a vote on May 15th to decide on a life-changing new measure. Essentially, after the Surfside condo collapse of 2021, a new mandate was passed requiring condo boards to have fully funded reserves to cover any potential costs like maintenance, repairs, and more. To raise these funds, the HOA would ask for a special assessment fee, asking for a range of, $11,000 to $22,000 per owner, depending on the property.
What?
For Brittany, this meant her 810 square foot home required $15,000 in fees.
Bro, what?
This is the kind of person where I'm like, if hell is real, you are going to hell. Like there's no, it's owners were shocked, obviously, especially after finding out that half of the fee would have to be paid 2 months later.
I don't know where I personally would come up with the money. Like, I have a full-time job, I work 40 hours a week, but I do not make enough money to have that much money saved up.
With the other half being due 1 month after that. So basically you have 2 months to scrounge up $7,500, and then next month you got to pay the other half. You're cool for that, right? You living in this 810 square foot duplex, you're good for that? Okay, cool, just making sure. At this point, the community came together and created a ballot with the goal of voting to recall the current board of directors to replace them with actual residents. Why that wasn't done in the first place, I will never know. They also hired an attorney to help look into the situation. The word had gotten out, with her TikTok going viral and local news stations picking up her story, and in the end, the board was fully replaced with people who had an actual interest in looking out for the residents and raising money in a way that wouldn't financially cripple everyone in the community.
Happy ending.
You know what's, and I'm saying this to you, I have no idea. You know for a fact too that those old board of directors, a bunch of old people.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the it is with old people wanting to hoard gold before they. What are you gonna do with it?
Sleep on it.
You might make a little bet out of it. Might be nice. I bet it's made of cash. Smother with her $100 bill pillow. I don't understand when people are like, some 76-year-old guy, I have 148 properties. Sell them. You're gonna die. You're gonna die soon.
It's
real soon.
Generational wealth.
It's probably because somebody looks at them and they're like, you're old. You're a fucking parasite. You're a leech on our family. You're a leech in our family. You're a waste of space. You smell bad. You should just die. Lay down and die. If you're old, just lay down and die.
Okay.
Jeez.
That's me talking to those board of directors. You know what? Fucking all old people. Lay down and die. I want to take a look at another woman who was hit with an exorbitant fee from the HOA. We could talk about the old woman who was forced to pay $17,000 in fines. Sorry, we just stepped it up $2,000. In 2020, an elderly woman from Georgia named Pat Kramer was in a panic after receiving absurd letters from the HOA. Just a guy down the street sending dick pics.
Oh, send more. Yeah, please send more. I horny.
Goddamn, Pat. Look at you. Your lips are sitting there slobbering all over the driveway, Pat. Look at you.
Sorry.
That's what we call a super soaker, Pat. Send her a Polaroid of her cock. She'll be happy for hours.
Ooh.
There's no way.
Why did this bit go on for so long, bro? Please, go to the next
After
thing.
living in her
Thank
neighborhood
you.
for 13 years with no issues, a new management company took over and started endlessly targeting her with huge violations and fees. It was me. I was like, how old is she? All right, stack it up and get her out. It started with her trash cans being visible. That irks me the most, dude. Which is hard for her to move frequently because of her age, because she's older than Father Time itself. Next, it was the way her hose looked in her yard, as well as the lawn art. She probably had little gnomes. Like, write up a ticket. They started asking her to deep clean the outside of her property. She obliged each time to keep things civil, but the late fees started to pile up when she was not able to get jobs done fast enough because she's so old.
I can't scrub faster.
Here's your Polaroid picture of my cock.
Ooh.
God damn it, well, no wonder you're getting distracted. Your lips keep drooling all over the yard there.
Sorry, I just am easily distracted.
Looking from behind.
Be gentle.
You have to put the gnomes up.
Not the gnomes.
Hunter.
The daily $25 infraction fee began to pile up, and Pat Kramer was panicking as she tried to make calls to her HOA to slow down the fees as she completed the request.
I can only clean and mow so fast. You gotta stop.
They're like, never. Hang up. They wouldn't return her calls after an entire year.
Please call me back.
Who is it, Pat Kramer? No, I'm good. Which, here's the thing, guys. The fees racked up to a staggering $17,000. How many years went by when they were just put it on her tab? We're going to get Pat out of here. We're going to cripple Pat before she dies. We're going to cripple this pup before she goes down. Which, a price that Kramer could not financially afford. She hired a lawyer who soon gave her the bad news that the HOA is completely within her right to treat her this way. So she had, did she pay it?
It sounds like
I was like, she's like, I don't have enough money. I'll pay you a lawyer. It's all I have. He's just like, you're
and here's my lawyer fees.
And then also I did work for 28 hours on this at $300 an hour. You do that math as well.
Oh, no.
He's like, don't worry, though. I did include a Polaroid of my cock.
Oh.
Everyone's like, I wish Pat would get the hell out of here, actually. The whole community's tired of Pat. Sometimes even the most minor infractions can lead homeowners down a road of crippling debt. Like with the $40,000 fence violation. God damn, we really are just raising these, aren't we, huh? Yeah. 15 to 17, now 40? Betty Hooker.
Ooh.
That's not her name. My name's Betty Hooker. What do you think my job is? That's right, I teach social studies. Betty Hooker wanted to construct a fence in the backyard in her Maryland home back in 2017, which would cost $8,000. She received all proper permissions from her HOA before building it, ladies and gentlemen. When it was done, she was told that the fence was too close to the community's common area. They had come down and measured it out, determining that it was exactly 8 inches too close. It's so obnoxious. You see it sometimes with like HOA people like actually bring out rulers. Betty Hooker, are you in cahoots with Pat Kramer?
No!
no! Betty thought that this was absurd, and likely the dispute was more about enforcing silly rules over obstructing common community zones. The HOA wasn't going to let this go, however. And months later, after notifying her that they would seek legal action if nothing is done about the fence, Betty wanted them to pay for it. And the lengthy dispute resulted in an official complaint to the county court by the HOA. Betty was certain that the judge would understand how silly this was, right? But she actually ended up losing and was being forced to pay a daily $25 fee that would start from back when the violation was first brought up. What? Yeah. Huh? Well, I like how she's like, this old man's gonna know what's up. He's like, it's 8 inches too. Guilty! She finally moved the fence to avoid further problems, but the HOA inspected it and told her it was still not following their guidelines. They took Betty right back to court, where she was ordered to pay an even more exorbitant fee on top of her attorney fees, totaling $40,000. I would kill myself in the cul-de-sac of my neighborhood if this happened to me. I would take a fucking gun and blow my brains out and make everybody watch, especially if people are like, I don't care. But 8 inches to the community. I'm like, who cares? Is it on her property? Yeah, who cares, dude? If it was going into other people's yards, I'd be like, well, it's f***ed up. That's not your property.
Yeah.
8 inches to the, I can't, sorry.
8 inches is huge.
Oh, trust me, 8 inches is huge. Like, sizes that probably people don't really ever see. Maybe in videos, but not in real life. Betty told reporters about her feelings at the moment. God, who cares, dude? She's like, I feel bad.
He's right.
Yeah, everyone does, dude. Have you heard of Pat Kramer, Polaroid hound of Florida? And Betty was claiming it was, quote, devastating, mentally, emotionally, and financially. But it didn't stop there, because the HOA wanted to seize her home to pay for the debts. The issue with the fence was becoming more and more trivial. The fence itself only had less than an inch encroaching into the community's common area. Less than an inch. See, that's more normal, though. That's normal size. Yeah.
Not small, normal.
Not small, I'm just saying normal size, normal. Fortunately, the HOA had broken rules as well. The rule in their governing document claims that the fines were improperly assessed in an abusive way and that the homeowners were not given proper due process. Because of this, the fees were all dropped.
Thank God.
Yes! Betty Hooker had quite the ending, unlike our girl Pat Kramer.
Oh, she.
Pat had to pay that. You think you can drop mine? Go off, Pat, and pay it. Okay. In one of the more cruel examples of the HOA's disregard for homeowners, a soldier in Iraq had his home taken away from him.
What?
Probably why he was in Iraq.
And his wife, too.
They took away the wife, too?
No, just making it. He probably lost his house and wife.
Michael Clower, who was a captain in the Army Reserve in Iraq, returned home in Frisco, Texas, to find that his $300,000 home had gone into foreclosure. His wife, May, took care of the 2 kids while her husband was shipped out to Iraq and soon slipped into a deep depression. She was terrified of losing her husband, to the point where she avoided checking the mail in fear of getting news of his death. Because of this, she had missed the HOA's letter alerting them that they had $800 in dues that needed to be paid. Oh God, God forbid. Yeah, so actually you owe us that. So if you don't, we're going to kill you and your family. We're Al-Qaeda. The HOA, we're terrorists. When this was ignored, the HOA started sending letters informing that they were getting ready to foreclose on the debt by seizing and selling their home. The worst part was the home was only sold for a measly $3,500, as it was just a vehicle for them to get back the small debt that they were owed. May was shocked that the HOA never once visited the home in person to get a response from her, and that her home could just be sold without her getting not a penny from it. They worked with the lawyer to try and reverse this foreclosure based on the fact that the affidavit from the HOA's lawyer did not account for Michael's deployment. They had also set up a legal defense fund and eventually sued the association in federal court. They awarded a generous settlement and were able to finally reclaim their home. You know what? Americans truly won that day, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Sure did.
A man went over, paid his dues, and he paid his dues back in the States as well.
God bless America.
God bless you, sir. Also, we should do Stolen Valor sometime, just for fun.
We're working on that.
Yeah, just for fun. I just want
I already reacted to that.
to do it for fun.
Oh, you mean? Oh,
yeah. I just want to. We should just go out into the library and do Stolen Valor.
I do that every weekend.
Okay, well, I'm going to join you then. And lastly, I want to talk about a hero. I want to talk about the man who killed his HOA president.
Wait, really?
And his wife. He's not a hero. I take that back. Hugh Hootman is a 75-year-old man that was infuriated due to a simple dispute between him and his neighbors.
Not a real
Apparently, the community laundry room door was left open Oh my God! 81-year-old Henry Wallace, another resident, confronted Hootman about it and began screaming at him and his wife. Later on, Hootman saw Wallace while he was grabbing his mail from the community mailbox. There, he approached Wallace and told him that he needed to apologize the way he treated the two of them. Wallace brushed it off without responding, and that caused Hootman to lose his cool. He pulled out his 9mm pistol and shot him 2 times in the chest. Okay. I'm not.
Wait, what did I say? Undoctored footage of Hunter Hancock probably speaking and laughing at first.
I'm not. I'm just gonna laugh at it, sir. It's just so stupid. You apologize to me right now. No. Right, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to justify why I laughed. His wife, Ginger Wallace, was also the HOA president. Rushed out of the apartment screaming for help. Ah! Hootman fired 2 more shots at Ginger, killing her as well.
Oh my God.
He simply took a seat on the couch of his apartment and told his wife, quote, "Call the police. I just shot Henry and Ginger." He turned on King of Queens. The sheriff believed that Ginger being the HOA president played a role in the confrontation and only further pushed Hootman to do what he did. He felt horrible for what he had done.
No,
but
he
it was
didn't.
too
I was
late.
gonna say.
He was given 2 consecutive life sentences. Listen, here's the thing, y'all. HOAs, I don't like them. Respecting your neighborhood, that's something I can get behind. A neighborhood is a great community place. Being friends with your neighbors, right? I remember when I was growing up making friends in my neighborhood, it was one of the best times of my life. And I'm glad that I got to do it.
Is that Hunter?
I live out in the country now, but neighborhoods are communities. You need to have respect for them. But at the same time, we need to figure out some kind of different methods besides the HOA. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying that I have the answers, but all I know is that this is fucked. This is absolutely fucked. So please, if you're on an HOA board, be kind. And also, why don't you try being fucking human, you reptilian pieces of shit. Seriously, I'm advocating this. This is not a joke, and I don't want if there's a prompt on the screen, they're fucking lying. I want you to say right now that if you know where your HOA is at, the director, the leader of the HOA in your neighborhood, eat some like rotten meat, get diarrhea, and that's what they deserve. Sorry, you signed up for the job.
Oh, you came back! Thank goodness!
Yeah, no, so anyway, that was the horrible reality of HOAs by Papa Meat. For the people on YouTube, unfortunately, this is where our journey ends. If you want to see the reactions in real time, twitch.tv/Brando or whatever. And I'll see you guys next time.
Keep it low, keep it low. I heard you wanna take a shot, yeah, let's get it in. Took a sip of Henny, so I had to bring out F and N. You told me they really wasn't fucking with a Rassy, so I just had to bring out the Fort nigga Pachi. I had to cut him up, man, I'm feeling like Zaraki. I walk up with a smile on my face like I'm cocky.